way for a guy.
I just think that it was a little like unfair.
No.
Like,
Forget the chat. I'm asking you a question related to the chat. But do you think it's wrong for a guy to not want to date let's say she's a fantastic woman. Would you object to a guy not wanting to date a woman who's overweight?
I would think.
You can answer the question. Go ahead.
I wouldn't think it's fair.
Say with your chest. What?
I wouldn't think it's fair.
You wouldn't think it's fair.
But where in dating does fairness exist? Where in attraction does fairness?
Overweight, but like, what if she was like, what you guys were talking about, like a virgin and like all these other things, but she's just overweight.
The number one
I
factor.
feel like that could be changed though. Like that, you could work on that.
Yeah, you can. But the number one factor in attraction as men.
What if she has like a health condition? What if she has like their thyroid problems or something like that, and she just like
that
So
doesn't
it does bother you then?
Yeah, but but look, let me that doesn't change the visceral response we have to seeing a woman. When we see a woman and a woman is attractive, subconsciously we have a response. We release serotonin, norepinephrine.
Facts.
These are responses that we have to seeing women who are attractive. If we don't get that response and it's because she's overweight, we don't get that response.
I agree, and I'm not saying don't put your health and make it like a priority. But I was just saying, like, I just didn't think that that's fair. That like,
I just don't understand how a preference is unfair.
Yeah, it's a preference.
Exactly.
It's like,
I don't think it's fair that women reject men who are short, especially because they can't do nothing about their height. But now men can't choose women who are not overweight. The double standards are crazy.
Does anyone
That's what
care?
I was saying.
Before I
said it
have
was an
anybody else
opinion.
come in, does anybody agree with her?
Of course, there's so many women who are going to.
Anybody agree?
No.
So I'm
You
shocked.
agree?
I'm surprised.
No.
Anybody? Okay.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
I'll take the L. This is the first time I've seen a group of women who agree with men's preferences, because they usually attack men's preferences.
Yeah.
How would you feel if?
Wait, but if I was obese, that makes me unmarried, unmarriageable, unwifeable, I'm not high value just because I'm overweight.
No, what we're saying is that men have a preference for slimmer bodies, especially it can be context specific, because weight is the one factor that is variable cross culturally depending on where you are. So if you go somewhere where food is scarce, women who are heavier would probably be more desirable because it speaks to them being healthier. But where food is abundant, you would like smaller women. So in the West, food is abundant. We're overweight. Women are overweight. So that means they're consuming too much and not doing enough exercise. But what we're saying and what I'm saying is, I just wanted to ask, if your boyfriend was to cheat on you with a fat woman, how would that make you feel?
Oh, that would hurt my feelings.
That would hurt your feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like not even just the cheating itself, but the fact that it's a fat woman. Would that?
Well, it would hurt me just in general that I got cheated on.
But wait. because women engage in intersexual competition too. Fact. So one of the things women will shame other women for is being fat.
And being
so that's why I said that women call each other whores.
Yeah.
They talk about how old they are and they talk about being fat. So
and ugly.
You know that being fat is not inherently desirable to men. You would feel more offended if your guy cheated on you with a fat woman because you'd be like, really? Like the bitch is fat.
No, and I'm admitting to that, but I'm not gonna sit here and like be mean to bigger women or like bully them, because that's just not in me. I'm not. Well, I like think all women are beautiful. I was just sticking up for them.
Are all men beautiful?
Yeah, in their own way. Yes, everyone.
But that's not true, because you would have picked most of the average men would be picked. If all the men are beautiful, there would be no single average man.
Are all men desirable?
Are you physically?
To somebody, yes.
No, but
everybody is for somebody.
No,
I believe that.
My question that I asked you was, do you object to a guy not wanting to date a woman because she's overweight? And you said yes. You do. You would object to that. You think it would be unfair to judge a woman based on her weight. However,
they judge men on height.
You wouldn't just date anybody, would you?
No.
I'm sure. Do you have criteria and standards and preferences? Are some of those physical preferences?
That's what he thinks, though.
No, but you would object. You said you'd object to it. You think it'd be unfair.
Yeah, but
so,
that's his own opinion. That's what he wants. How tall are you? I'm 5'7".
Would you date a guy who's shorter than you?
No, but I have.
So
What's your-
yes,
So that's unfair.
yes.
That's unfair that you and first
Double
and I would also
standards.
point out height is totally out of a guy's control. You can't control your height as a guy. As a woman
You
or a
can control
man,
your weight.
you can control your weight. So I would
You can control how much you eat. You can control how much you go to McDonald's. I love McDonald's though. Sometimes their fries are fire, if I'm gonna be honest. Right? They judge men based on money. Like it's so hard to make money. Like it's really hard to make money, but they judge men on. I can guarantee you, this woman, and she's a good-looking lady. There you go. You guys are gonna call me a simp, but she's a good-looking lady, in my opinion. This woman has rejected like thousands of men. I can guarantee you. Was that unfair? No, that was a choice. That was a preference.
actually argue it's much more unfair to judge a man by his height than to judge a woman by her weight.
Facts.
However, it's totally cool. Women will actually insult short men. They'll use it as an attack. They'll make TikTok videos saying you must be this tall to date me, blah, blah, blah. But if a man were to say, I wouldn't date a overweight woman.
There are men though that prefer that though.
Yes, there are. I would say most don't though. And I'd say the men that prefer overweight women, they do it out of necessity because frankly, they
They got no
aren't capable of
choices.
securing a partner who is more trim.
Facts.
Are you calling them insecure?
No, I'm not calling them insecure, but like the reality is a lot of men date necessitously. Is that even a word? Necessitously? I don't know if that's a fucking word.
You might have made that one
He's
up.
trying to say a lot of men date what they can get. So the whole thing of men fuck who they can get and women fuck who they want, right? Because most women are approached, so they get to pick and choose. Okay, I like this guy. Okay, this guy is not tall enough. Okay, he's not rich enough. So they pick and choose because they have so many guys approaching them. As for a man, I approach and then I can either get rejected or I can be given a chance, whichever comes first, unless you're like Chris Brown or Drake, where the women come to you. But for as long as a man, you still have to approach. If she says no, there's nothing you can do. So whoever says yes is who you go with.
I might have made that one up. They date out of like most men have very few options.
Yeah.
So I think the saying goes, I haven't used this one in a while. Women date who they want.
Yeah,
Men
I just said
well, no,
that.
it's women sleep
with who they want.
Women sleep with who they want. Men sleep with who they can.
Yes.
True.
So if that's your only options, is a look. There's some men with fetishes. That's fine. Those are outliers. The majority of men probably prefer women with a healthy BMI and who are not overweight and obese. Let me ask, do you have a height minimum when it comes
does.
to who you date?
Not a minimum, but like I would prefer somebody that's at least like my height, 5'7" and above.
See, that's a
Which I don't think is that difficult.
so that
How
makes
tall was your last boyfriend?
We were the same height, 5'7".
Same height?
yeah.
Okay.
I maybe
that makes it unfair for the guys who are 5'6", since you want to date men who are 5'7", right? That makes it unfair. But she's not going to say that. She's going to call it a preference. Women's preferences are called as you're strong, you know your worth. But for men's preferences, they're seen as you hate women. How dare you? How dare you judge? Yet women judge you within the first 5 seconds of a woman seeing you. She has already made her mind up whether you're the kind of guy she wants to take to her friends. You're the kind of guy she just wants to see at night when no one is watching. You're the kind of guy she's going to use for free dates. You're the kind of guy she wants to fuck the same night. Like she has already put you on all those departments that within the 5 seconds of seeing you.
he would have been 5'8".
Right. So the reality is most women would probably prefer to date a guy who's taller than them.
Facts.
Nobody bats an eye at that. But when a guy says, I don't want to date a woman who's overweight,
It's an issue.
my God, fat shaming, insecure, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't say he was insecure.
Okay. You said you object to a man not wanting to date a woman who's overweight. Go ahead.
And I think it goes both ways too, because when you are looking at a potential partner that is overweight, you got to think about when I have kids, A, it might be harder for them to have kids. B, they could develop heart issues like heart's disease, not to mention they have a shorter overall lifespan. So knowing that you're going to be getting into a relationship
That's smart. She's a
and that
smart woman.
person might and probably is most likely going to die before you, and you're going to be alone with the kids, why would you enter into a relationship knowing that those might be the terms and costs because of weight?
That's
Okay. Okay, if that's the argument, then the guy needs to be literally in the gym every day. He needs to be on top of his health also
That's not
Well,
true.
for
then
him to be able to say that. And then I would be like, okay, that's valid because you take care of your health and you make that a priority. Then I'll respect that. But like just being like a big heavy set man and being like, oh, I'm not gonna date somebody that's big. Like what? Like you have a lot of nerve.
Yeah, but it's not like short women only want to date short men. Because what she's saying that only men who are fit and go to the gym should desire women who are fit, right? So in that logic, the same logic should be only women who are 6 feet should desire men who are 6 feet. But we know women who are 3 feet, 2 feet sometimes, asking for men who are 7 feet, asking for LeBron James. How is it possible that she can't see the double standard by even just talking? Women who make $30,000 want men who make 6 figures. So should we say only rich women should want rich men? No, she's going to say, oh no, I don't want to be with a broke guy. Okay, but why are you making all these standards for men? Why are you deciding who men should choose and date?
I mean, you make a fair point. However,
No,
I
it's
would
not a
argue
fair
that
point.
a lot of women desire traits in men that they themselves do not possess.
Facts.
For example, a lot of women want a guy who's funny. Are they funny themselves? A lot
No.
of women want a guy who's tall. Are they funny themselves? A lot of
Already
women
tall themselves.
want a guy who's charismatic. Oh, did I miss that?
Yeah, you
That's
said
it.
fun. Yeah, you said funny.
Oh,
themselves.
sorry.
You
Okay.
meant tall.
A lot of girls want a guy who's super confident and has charisma, yet they're not charismatic or confident themselves. A lot of women
Want a rich
want a guy
man.
who's rich. They're not rich themselves. So both men and women desire traits in a partner that they themselves do not necessarily possess. Now, I do think when it comes to your, like, if you're a fat dude, women can also choose to not date an overweight dude.
And
That's
they do
totally
that
fine.
all
That's
the
totally
time.
valid.
Especially if he's broke.
So, yeah.
Especially if he's broke. If you're fat and you got no money, now if you're like Rick Ross, you got your own jet, you got your own mansion. Do you know how many beautiful in shape women would rather date Rick Ross rather than date me, or rather than date a guy who's in the gym, or rather than date like a normal personal trainer, just because Rick Ross has money? You guys have seen other women. If you know Rick Ross, on social media, he changes women like every 3 to 4 business days, and they're all beautiful women, right? But you don't think there are so many men who are in shape who are trying to hit on those same women and they reject them? That's the dating game. Like, that's life. People choose and pick and choose what they want. But for you to attack men just because they have a certain preference and she's not even overweight, she's not even fat, she looks good to me, but the way she's fighting for the overweight women is crazy. Anyway, shout out to Brian. Let's go to the next video. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat.